Hello and welcome to this AI Patents coffee break. So today's coffee break is about AI tools for patent attorneys, one of my passion topics actually. So while people are still joining, maybe let me know in the chat, which AI tools are you using yourself in your patent work these days? Or are you using AI at all? So also, please do me a favor and hit the like button right now because, well, this will tell the algorithm here on LinkedIn to show the video to more people. And it also helps me spread the word. So that would be very kind. All right. So tools for patent attorneys, right? Well, I mean, the Gen AI space keeps evolving quickly. And we see new models coming out every other day. Basically still, and if you've been in one of my seminars, for example, you will know that I like to use these local offline LLMs basically as a writing assistant for my patent drafting work. But then I've also heard some people say that this is kind of too much for them to do it in a kind of a do-it-yourself approach, which I understand because, yeah, obviously local LLMs are not for everyone. And so that's why I recently started to look a little bit more seriously into commercial patent drafting software products, really. And I was stumbling upon a tool which is called Rowan Patents, which looks quite promising to me. And so I thought, why not take a look at this tool together today? Disclaimer, I'm not affiliated with Rowan Patents. I don't get any money from them or anything like that. I just think that this could be a very handy tool. So I wanted to share my experience with you. So without further ado, I would say let's just do a quick demo. I have to admit that I've just started toying around with this tool. So bear with me if something is not working. I'm sharing my screen here. So this is the kind of the start menu of Rowan Patents. It says it's an integrated drafting environment. What I really like about this tool is this integrated aspect. So it's not primarily about AI, but it actually has a lot of features which predate the AI hype, so to say. So many functionalities, we will see that in a minute, are really just clever but still rule-based text replacement things and things like that. But they work pretty well for our use case, patent drafting here, because for many things you don't even need AI. But then, other than that, they also added AI in some recent updates. So, yeah, roughly 1 month ago, there was a press release saying that they now have Rowan Gen AI assistants. And they say that these new Rowan Gen AI assistants use a local language model. That sounds pretty nice to me. A local model and generative AI to assist you in drafting select parts of your application. You can draft title, technical field, background, summary, and so on. So this sounds quite promising. They use, as I said, a local language model, which is downloaded to your system so that any patent matter you provide as input remains secure and local to you. So that sounds pretty interesting to me. No data are transmitted out of our system for any part of these generations. Pretty cool. So also interesting for me, the model they picked. So as the local language model, they actually use the Phi 3 mini model by Microsoft, which is actually not an LLM, not a large language model, but is an SLM, a small language model. But that's maybe beyond the scope of today's video. Interesting for me. I haven't seen that model really being discussed in the Gen AI space so much, other than the other models, Llama 3 and whatnot. Anyways, so a local Gen AI functionality sounds very promising to me. So let's just quickly look through this tool. So you start by starting a new application, obviously. The tool comes with all sorts of templates. I tried to customize my own template, but didn't really get through. So maybe I need a professional tutorial still for this tool. And then what you have is you basically have your typical skeleton patent document, right, with the sections, section headers, and also some boilerplate text already filled in. Then what I typically do when I draft patents, I start with the claims first. I know some people prefer to do the figures first. I almost all the time start with the claims. So for this little demo, let's just take an example claim. You would really write out your claims here in this tool when you use it productively. Now let's just copy and paste an example claim. In here, I would say for demo purposes, it's a method for multi-language, multitask speech recognition. And so actually, this is a real live patent claim from one of OpenAI's very recently published new US patents. And if you're into these kinds of digital patents, software patents, I think I'm gonna take a deeper look exactly into this patent here in next week's coffee break. So mark your calendar for that. So, but anyways, for today, we just need some claim. So we have this method claim. It has a first step of obtaining a transformer model, including an encoder and a decoder. The transformer model has certain characteristics that does not really play a role for today's video, I guess. Then the method goes on with generating an output transcript from an input audio segment using the transformer model. Okay, so that's, yeah, the basic flow. You have this transformer model, you put in an audio segment, and you get out a transcript. And then the generation step has some certain sub-steps which apparently make up the invention. There are certain tokens configured. I don't think we have to really understand today what this invention is about. But hey, so this is a typical software claim. So now that we have our patent claim here for this example, what you can do is do all sorts of automations to create certain parts of the patent specification. So maybe starting with the easier one, so you can auto-generate a title here using this local Microsoft LLM or SLM, this local model. And it says multi-language speech recognition method. Fair enough. I think that's pretty accurate. You can autofill also the technical field. For example, it says this disclosure relates to a method for multi-language speech recognition using transformer models with language and task tokens. Sounds pretty accurate to me. Then let's go on to the background section. Here you also have a generate background with AI option. So let's see if that works. And in my demo, to already take it away, I was not, when I was trying this tool out first, I was not overly convinced. It has generated 3 paragraphs. Okay, quite short. It says transformer models. Remember, the only input we gave was the claim 1, nothing else, right? It says transformer models have become a key component in the field of multi-language speech recognition, and so on. That seems to be an explanation of what transformer models are. The state of the art has seen significant advancement. Okay, models like blah, blah, blah. So it talks about certain prior art. And then it says, moreover, recent work aims to build. Okay. Yeah, personally, that's not my personal style of drafting a background section, because I'm missing some kind of a, you know, a little bit more dramatic narrative. So let's try a different approach. So instead of using this auto-generated background section, what I would do now is I would fire up the AI chat, and also, where is it going? Sorry. Here we go. By the way, you can always choose which model you want to use, apparently. You can switch to OpenAI, GPT-4. Obviously, then your data is sent over the internet to OpenAI's servers, or you can keep the local Phi 3 mini model. That's what I'm going with here. And what I want to do now is I would just use my usual prompt out of my private prompt library, which I use frequently when I draft patent applications, my prompt for the background section. And I would just feed this prompt with certain information, saying, for example, the technical field is, let's say, Gen AI and speech recognition. What are the prior art solutions? Transformer models. What are the shortcomings? I would write something like shortcomings are vast amounts of data needed for training, compute intensive. Okay, and what is the objective of the invention? I would say something like provide improved techniques for training speech recognition machine learning models. Okay, then I would take this, my prompt template, together with those facts we just wrote out together, and paste it here into the chat box. Here's the prompt, right? And here are the context information we just discussed. I would send it to the local chatbot here, and now it's supposed to write out a nice background section. Okay, let's see. This is what I don't see any option to directly put this back into the application text, so I'm going to copy it and paste it here by hand. So, and now what do we have? The field of Gen AI and speech recognition has undergone significant transformation, and so on, blah, blah, blah. Nice intro. Paragraph, prior art solutions have played an instrumental role in shaping this landscape. Then it talks about transformer models, natural language processing, and so on. Then it says, however, despite the impressive performance, they have encountered certain limitations when applied to our domain here. Training these models has become increasingly challenging. Data requirements, so it picked up what I said about the vast amount of training data needed. The first shortcoming lies in the massive amounts of training data needed. Okay, so this it picked up pretty nicely. It explains what that all means. Moreover, training speech recognition models is computationally intensive, so it also picked up on the other obstacle I gave it. Given these challenges and so on, I think we don't have to read through it. I think this is probably a nice first draft for the background section. Okay, so we have something like 7 or 8 paragraphs of background section. Okay, so but what else can this tool do? What I find really interesting is that, for example, it also has this drawing tool where you can generate the patent drawings. And if we go back to our claim 1, right, once you have the claim wording finished, you can say generate flowchart. And since this is a method claim, as in many digital patents, what it does is, it generates a complete flowchart for claim 1. So that's pretty cool in my opinion, because this, I mean, if you do it manually, like many patent attorneys do, this involves, of course, lots and lots of manual work, and of course copy and pasting. And once you have the figure, you know, sometimes, of course, or many times you edit your claims later on. You have to do the same edits then in the drawings to keep them consistent. You know the story basically. So here the thing is that this is auto-generated, so it's always perfectly consistent. Another thing I find really cool, I found out recently, is that there's some kind of this concept of terms. So Rowan Patents has some kind of a, let's say, an object-oriented approach. So you can define certain key terms in your invention, and these terms are then used as objects in various places of the spec and kept consistent over the whole specification. So, and what you can do is you can say find tag in terms, so it automatically selects certain phrases where it certain expressions where it thinks, well, this could be a key term of the invention. So we have the transformer model, of course, we have an encoder, a decoder, labeled audio data, and so on, output transcript, input audio segment. So here it has auto tagged the core terms in this invention. You can also edit these and, for example, remove some terms which you don't wanna use, for example. And once you've done that, the funny thing is that what I really like is that you can now, for example, create figures, and here you can use these objects. For example, if I wanted to draw as figure 1 some kind of, structural block diagram to give a general overview over the invention. Such a block diagram would usually have, the transformer model and then the inputs and the outputs. So I would create a new figure here, start with an empty sheet, and then just add an element. And here now I can use the terms from the claims. So, for example, the transformer model, and see that it has an automatic reference sign now attached. And what else did we have? We have what goes in, what comes out. An input audio segment goes into the transformer model, and an output transcript comes out. So let's maybe also put those here. So we would have the, what was it called? Audio. Input audio segment would go in. You can draw some nice, draw some nice arrows if you know how to do it. And the output, maybe also, it was some kind of transcript, right? Output transcript. Here you go. So maybe like this. So we could, I don't know, maybe do it like this, Okay, and then we have a very basic figure 1, or we could make it even a little bit more elaborated, because the transformer model includes an encoder and a decoder, so we could also add those if we want. You get the idea, right? So I think this way you can nicely generate your figures, your drawings. What I really like about this is that the reference signs are assigned automatically, right? So no need to fumble around with those. And well, another interesting thing is that all of this again feeds back into the specification, because as we have seen, the only thing we manually added was the claims, really. We generated the background section with AI, but also the tool behind the scenes started in the detailed description, for example, to write the figure description for figure 2 here automatically. So it says in block 202, routine 200 obtains a transformer model, and so on, blah, 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 blah. So this is pretty cool, I would say. And I think Also, this is all because of this object-oriented approach. If you change some things here, for example, if we, let's say, rename this routine into, I call it method most of the time, right? And this, in my practice, would not be a block, but it would be a step, right? This also, and so on. I'm skipping the other ones now. And now if we go back, yeah, it automatically adjusted the figure description here. It now says in step 202, method 200, and so on, right? So that's pretty nice, I would say. I'm not sure why the transformer model and the encoder and the decoder don't have the reference signs we introduced here, but I think it's probably because of my limited knowledge how to control this tool. So I guess if I would know what I would be doing here, really, it would probably also populate those automatically, right? As you can see, so I think this is pretty cool, actually. So you can generate all sorts of intellectually less challenging parts, but nevertheless linguistically complex things with AI here. And you can also work pretty nicely with the figures. You can save a lot of time with those flowcharts. And then all of this feeds back into the spec again, where you have, I guess, perfectly consistent figure descriptions, for example, right? So I really think this is could be an interesting tool to look into more deeply, in more detail. So, well, but then again, this is just me playing around with this tool, right? I have not used it productively so far, but I for sure will very soon. And I think I can only imagine how much you could really streamline the patent drafting workflow once the tool is, properly customized and when it's also operated by someone who knows what he's doing. So I will definitely give Rowan Patents a try. And once I've figured it all out, I guess I'll share my workflow with you in another video if you want. So stay tuned for that. Again, all of this is just out of curiosity and because I like to share things I find interesting. I'm not affiliated with Rowan Patents, right? All right, so that's it for today, actually. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions about Gen AI for patent attorneys, just shoot me a message anytime, right? Also, please share this video with your colleagues. And as we were looking into this newly published OpenAI patent, actually, OpenAI has a number of new patents that just came to the surface. And I think I'll discuss those in next week's AI Patents Coffee Break. So make sure you join me again next week, right? Thanks and bye-bye.